Yo, what's up guys, Barks here, and in today's video it's going to be another guide about the guild boss, and we're going to be going over advanced guild boss gearing and techniques you can be doing to really maximise the sort of scores you're getting on the boss. As you can see, I got 1,651 points this week, which is a super high score, and we're going to go over how I did it, the gear I was using when I did it, the techniques that I used during the fight, and also the advanced techniques you use on the gear to help you really push those scores and get a really high score for your guild. So if you like this video guys, remember to subscribe and like and leave a comment, and we're going to be having the hard mode version of this guide out tomorrow, so if you enjoyed this guide, be sure to check back tomorrow to see the hard mode version. Alright guys, so let's just get into, first of all, the gearing and team choice I chose for this run. Alright guys, so this is the team I'm using. In position 1 I'm using Gotha, in position 2 I'm using Gustav, position 3 I'm using Jericho, and position 4 I'm using Helbrim. Now the reason why you want to use the people in this set order is because you get combines easier on the Gotha and the Gustav spells if they're at the front of the queue, and it's also easier to dump the other spells like the Jericho spells and the Helbrim's attack because they do less damage, so overall it makes things easier. You're going to want to have, for associations, a 6 out of 6 Gila, as she's going to give the most attack to Jericho. For Gustav and Helbrim you can use any association you want, it doesn't really matter, just I'd advise using one that increases the defense ratings and HP. And for Gotha, you're going to want a unit with high defense rating. Now this is really important, I'll explain why later, but you're going to want a unit that has a 6 out of 6 ultimate with a high defense rating. So Diane has the highest defense rating in global at the minute, so I use Diane. But other units you can use that are SSR that you might have a 6 out of 6 ultimate on is Arthur, Red Gill, Green Merlin, or Hauser. If you don't have any of them, you can also use SR Gill, SR Griamore, SR Dreyfus. So guys, let's go into Gotha's gear. So for Gotha's gear, you're going to want to run triple defensive set. Now the reason you do this is because you want to try and get his defense rating as high as possible, and combined with his resistance rating, this is going to allow you to patience the boss attacks. And what this means is he's going to take no damage, he's not going to get debuffs, which means that he's able to stack his passive up every single turn. So on the turn 5 when you attack, he's not going to be hit, he'll be giving 40% increased attack damage to Jericho. This is a trick that a lot of top end guilds have been doing for a long time now, but a lot of people probably don't know about this, and I think it's something that is really worth investing in. You don't need the SSR gear like I've got, you can just use the normal SR gear or rare gear as long as you roll it into defense and resistance high. And for my attack and defense rings, I just use no plus ones with no increased attack damage. That way the Gotha's doing the minimum amount of damage to the boss, which is going to let you attack more times with Jericho. Now I have 84% resistance here and 8,277 defense base stats. To get his resistance up though, you're going to want to use the costumes that use resistance. So that's resistance, resistance, that one's not resistance, resistance, resistance again. This is super important to getting his resistance up while keeping a high defense rating, so you can block the level 2 and silver spells. Now for numbers wise, you're going to probably want to get around 8,700 defense and try to get around 80% plus resistance rating. This is going to allow you to block all the level 1 spells that the bosses cast. So now let's get into Gustav's gear. So for Gustav, basically you want to run a HP defensive set, and the main thing you want with Gustav's gear is you want the 2 top pieces to be rolled into pierce rating. And what this allows you to do is increase your overall Jericho damage by reducing the boss's resistance because of his passive, which decreases the enemy resistance by the amount of pierce rating Gustav has. So by stacking a super high amount of pierce rating, it's going to reduce the boss's resistance down, which is going to allow Jericho to do a lot more top end damage, which is going to allow you to get a big crit. And for Helbrim, you can use pretty much anything you like for Helbrim, it doesn't really matter. His gear is not important at all, you just want to do as low damage as possible. So let's get into Jericho's gear. So for Jericho's gear, you want to try and get as high attack value as possible while getting a very high crit damage rating. So to do this, you're going to use a triple crit damage set, and you mainly want your SSR, ring and bracer slot, as it's going to increase the damage by a lot. And you also want to try and get good crit damage and attack rolls across both pieces of gear. This is going to really help you out, and it doesn't really matter about the other pieces, it just increases the survivability. So if you're having problems surviving, you can get better pieces than what I have there as well. And now you're also going to want to look at her ultimate level and things like the gear. So for her cosmetics, you want to try and get all the cosmetics with high attack damage, crit damage and pierce rating. And this is one of the weapons that is really good that I don't actually own, but all the other ones I have got good amounts of crit damage, good attack rating. This is going to give you a big boost overall and make a huge difference in the end. And obviously for I'll just show you her ultimate level as well. You want to get her ultimate level to 6 out of 6. That is going to be a big increase. Anything lower than 6 out of 6 is going to be quite a bit different, but it still might be okay. But I want to get the 6 out of 6 as it does make a big difference. So now we're going to the Gila Association. You want to try and get a high attack value as possible on Gila. So to do this, you want to use your best attack defense set you have available and put it onto Gila, as this is going to let her pass over more stats to Jericho and increase your overall damage for Jericho. This is super important that you put a good set on Gila as well, and that she's 6 out of 6 ultimate, as it's going to allow you to pass over the most stats. And you really need the attack stats if you're stacking the crit damage on Jericho. She's got a 6 out of 6 ultimate, as you can see. And if you have any sort of weapon cosmetics for her, it's going to increase her attack stat and it's going to help a lot. But it's not super necessary, but if you have it, make sure you've got it equipped because it is worth it. So now we're going to get into the actual run where I got these scores. Alright guys, so as you can see, I'm using the crit damage food. This is super good, as it's going to give you the highest damage increase for this fight. It's way better than attack food, and I would advise everyone to be using it with the sort of run build that I'm using. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through each of the skills that I select, the reason why I do it, and what you should be looking for at each point of the fight on your own runs to succeed. So the opening hand that I always like to do is, I like to go through attack, into the Gustav attack, into Jericho slash, into Jericho bleed. The reason why I do it in this order is because you don't want to use the Jericho slash with debuffs on the target, as it'll do too much damage. And I like to leave the Hellbrun poison on my bar just in case I get a Hellbrun poison upgrade, and that way I can combine them and cast it without doing too much damage to the boss. Now I get a really good hand here. I get another Hellbrun upgrade and I get 2 Gotha upgrades. Now this is super good, as it's going to set me up for a strong run. So I'm going to combine the Hellbrun and the Gotha spells. I'm going to cast the 2 poisons, then I'm going to cast the silver Gotha upgrade. This is going to give me another silver Gotha upgrade, a silver freeze and a gold Hellbrun attack. So what I need to look for now is I need to look for some Jericho attacks and another Gotha upgrade card. Unfortunately I don't get the Gotha upgrade card, but I do have some dead cards in my hand, like the Hellbrun ultimate's really messing me up right now. As you can see, this is the first time the fight Gotha gets hit, but because he has the defensive set, he patients the attack and keeps all his attack stats and doesn't take any damage. So the only play I can really do in this situation is I need to try and get some Jericho ultimate stacks, but also not kill the boss. So I decided how to put the bleed on, then I use the Gotha attack, then I move the Jericho slash because I need to wait for the poison to drop off, and then I cast the freeze to remove the poison and to remove the bleed, so that next turn I can use the slash to get the ultimate, and also to make sure that I don't kill him by the bleed damage. Unfortunately I get a dead hand again. I don't really get what I need, so now I'm going to be in a tricky situation to dump these cards without killing the boss, but to also make space to get the Gotha upgrade. Again, he patients the boss damage, so he keeps the stacks. So what I need to do now is I need to get rid of as many cards as possible from my hand to make space for the Gotha upgrades. So I'm going to dump all these, and then I'm going to cast the Gotha attack buff upgrade at the end, as I can't really cast one of the ultimates as I might kill him, and this way it's going to make 4 spots to try and get the Gotha upgrade. So it does the Hellbrun attack increase. Now basically, okay, I do get the upgrade, which is going to be the optimal run as long as Gotha does not take damage this turn. Luckily Hellbrun passive saves him there. Okay, so what I need to do now is you need to upgrade the Gopher spell into the gold Gopher spell, into the gold freeze, into the Jericho. I'll just show you the stats that I have currently with just the Gopher buff. 4 stacks of the Gopher buff gives me 17.8k attack. With the Gopher gold buff, this is going to go up to around 22,500 attack, which you're going to get now from getting the 20% increased bear stats. Then I'm going to cast the gold freeze, and then Jericho is going to hopefully crit the boss for around 3 million. And if she does, she hits him for 3,184. That's actually the biggest crit I've ever done, so this should be a good score. And I score 1,651 on the boss, which is super massive. Right guys, I appreciate you managed to make it to the end of the video. I know it was a long one today, but it's not an easy subject to be able to cover everything that you need in one video. So tomorrow we're going to have the hard mode boss guide coming out, and I hope you can take the tips and tricks and the gearing methods used in this video and try and apply them to your own runs so you can get super high scores, impress your guild leaders, and get your guild into the top 100 so you can get some better increased rewards later in the week. Right guys, so remember, if you like the video, drop a subscribe and a like. I really appreciate it when you do. If you have any comments about the video, leave a comment and I'll get back to you, and I'll always answer any comments you have or questions. And it doesn't have to be about a specific video, it can be about other subjects as well. I'll always try and help you guys out whenever I can. So yeah, thanks a lot guys, see you next time.